Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. Today we've got a Cryptid Nation market update for you. We do have Cryptid Nation 2nd Edition. Patrons, I just launched my sale for Cryptid Nation 2nd Edition. It does include actually a box of Nightfall from distribution this week, and it's, I think, a great deal, so make sure you check out that. But we do have 2nd Editions out. We're not going to get into the EV of 2nd Edition yet because the set doesn't release until tomorrow, but we will take a look at what the sets are doing currently. If you want access to all this stuff, head on over to KitchenTableTCG.com, where you can get access to a collection tracker that tracks the value of your Metazoo collection whenever I do a market update video. So let's hop into Kickstarter. We're going to rush a little bit. I do have my kids who are just waking up from their nap. So trying to get all the work done this week, but it's been a little tough. So let's talk about, first and foremost, let's hop into a Kickstarter sealed prices. Everything is all over the place. Christmas season has made everything kind of all over the place. You have people who are splurging, you have people who are selling. It's been a highly volatile market recently. So here you have a 1st edition Kickstarter on the 28th that sold for $8,700, and then the next day one that sold for $7,200. So we're going to kind of split the gap. There's also one that sold on TCG Player. So on the average side of things, we're sitting at about $8,300 on average for a box of Kickstarter. We have not seen a non-alternating box sell this week, so that's why the price is in green. You can see that price point sitting there, it's not down 100%. It's actually up 4% from the $8,000 on the box price. So the top end, look at, we're also tracking the other prices of stuff. You've got Spellbook, which is down a little bit to $2,500. The Iceman, all the decks are kind of all over the place. There was a weird sale of one 2 weeks ago at $100 for the Iceman deck, but we track them, but we don't really talk about it that much. Anyway, looking at auras, the auras are up 10% to an average of $18 each. This is interesting to see those moving and selling. We've got Terras that are moving down 1% to an average of 17% each. We just check, making sure everything is recording. Sorry. Non-foil bronzes. Non-foil bronze, you're actually sitting up 18% here. A lot of this is, we kind of just take TCG Player, the low price on all these non-foil stuff. So just keep that in mind. Price going up does say that some of them are moving for prices similar to that. Non-foil silvers, as you look at that, you're seeing an uptick of 9% to an average of $7.92. Reverse holos, here we go. This is where we actually get into things. Keep in mind, anything that's green is an old sale, so it's just a sale that we haven't seen updated very recently. Reverse holo bronzes were down 3%. You've got some stuff going on, not a ton of interaction, not a ton of movement. Percentage wise, you've got Matlocks, which is down 18%, Sewer Alligator down 5%. You've got Bunnyman down 9%, and Chibi Mothman down 3%. Reverse holo silvers, you're down 3% here. It's kind of all over the place on the Kickstarter stuff. Hoop Snake down 48%, Kentucky Hellhound up 62%. You're still seeing just volatile market. We're still trying to figure out what the value of these cards are, honestly. The market's still accepting things. You have people who realize, hey, their card's worth $40. I'll take the cash now, I'll put it up and take a best offer. It's just kind of all over the place. Kickstarter is still very much finding its value, I feel like. So sitting on an average of $43, that is 3 weeks in a row of downturns on prices for the reverse holo silver. Looking at reverse holo golds, we are down 7% to $106. As we take a look at some of these cards that are moving, Babe the Blue Ox took a hit, down almost 50%. Blood Ruby down 25%. Earth's Core down 28%. Fresno Nightcrawlers up 25%. So you have, again, some cards, Holy Gem up 50 or 60%. Still have a lot of cards moving up or down. Loveland Frogman, a really popular one, down $50 to $150. So a lot of movement there on the reverse holo golds. Mothman, haven't seen a sale on it since the $913 sale last week. And where's our Chaos Crystal? Chaos Crystal, it's up to $305, so up $10 from last week. Looking at your full holo golds, again, Mothman, no sales this week, so that price is a week old at $37.50. If you take a look at the percentage changes, though, Bigfoot, the big seller here, sold this week for $375. I do think Bigfoot has moved up in Nightfall. Sorry, has moved up in Kickstarter as well as 1st edition. I do think people are starting to spec on Bigfoot for Wilderness, as that set will obviously feature Bigfoot, I am sure. Jersey Devil is also up 65% to $375. The big one I wanted to highlight here is Metal Man of Alabama, selling for $200. $100. Let's pop up the card highlight here. And Sam Sinclair as well, but Metal Man of Alabama selling for $200. These are reverse holos. This one's PSA 10 graded for $750, but this one at $200 for a raw version. And then also Sam Sinclair here selling for PSA 10 for $1,900 and then a raw for $810. So that one is also up. Sam Sinclair up 79% as we look at the tracker. This puts your full Holo Gold at an average of $310, which is up 16% this week. And that puts your EV calculation. If you open up a box, you're sitting about $5,661 if you're only including the foils and not including the non-foils. If you do include the non-foils, you're sitting at $8,927. As we compare that to last week, you can see prices are actually down about 3% across the board, up 1% if you include the non-foils, but across the board we're really down about 3% for your EV of the week. All right, let's hop on over to first edition. First edition, and keep in mind we do take like average sale prices. There are some that have sold for less, there's some that have sold for more, so we're trying to take average sale price for all this stuff. Let's take a look at the box prices. Where's our box prices? Sealed box is sitting at $840. So this is a great example of something that is selling for more on eBay. So here's your card highlight here. It's selling for $945, $925, $988, but over on TCG Player, you have boxes available for $834. So just keep that in mind that we do kind of take the average pricing and try to figure out that what's going on. So that's where we landed at $840. It's a little bit higher than $835 probably. But with shipping, that's where we're seeing. Make sure you're buying on TCG Player if you can, because it's obviously cheaper. All right, looking at your auras, we'll just kind of speed through this here. Your average aura is 22 cents. Your average Terra is 47 cents. Non-foil bronzes are down 11% to 47 cents. Non-foil silvers down 19% to 45 cents. Reverse holo bronze, we're actually down 6% to an average of $5.86. There has been a few sales of things that are interesting. And here you got Space Penguins down 16%. You've got Chibi Mothman is up 23%. This is a couple weeks in a row, I believe, that Chibi Mothman has, well, it started off at 25, but there was some other Chibi one that was interesting. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I thought it was the Mothman. I guess it was the sale of the Chibi Mothman that I highlighted the other day that I said maybe the announcement of the Chibi set is what kind of sparked that Chibi Mothman going up. But anyway, we kind of fell back down, and now we're, I guess, on the way towards it again. Looking at your reverse holo silvers, we're down 2%. There was a squonk that sold on eBay last night for really cheap in an auction, but there were other ones that sold this week at other prices. So kind of, again, just trying to take average pricings on things. It's kind of interesting right now. There's some auctions that are going unseen, I think. Funeral Mountain Terror Shot up 25%. Squonk down 6%. You can make an argument that it would be down to about $10 maybe, but Hoop Snake down 20%, Black Cat down 9%. Put your average here down 2% to an average of $5.68. Reverse Holo Golds are actually up this week, up 18%. Mothman, let's show you the Mothman here. Don't be scared. You know, there's a Mothman that sold for $66, but it has like a little bit of an uptick. It's even mentioned here. They call it a small lift, barely visible. And then in the pictures, they don't do a great job. So it kind of looks like a corner is like folded up there. So obviously that's going to hurt the value. You can almost see a little bit of a indentation, like it's a whole folded corner. Luckily, we have another sale that day of a Mothman reverse holo for $185. So that's kind of where I'm going to track it this week at like 190, 185, 190. Based on also TCG Player had a sale. So that one is up 35%. You've got Lizard Man of Scape or Swamp up 176%. Fresno Nightcrawlers way up. But if you take a look, we had a terrible sale last week at $3. This is what I'm saying. Sometimes there's these sales that are just like, they just didn't get the auctions. It was like one or two people were bidding on it. It just didn't get seen. So I don't know what to do with that. But last week it was at $3.26. This week is at $17. But really it's only up like $1 from where it was previously. You've got Quetzalcoatlus up 61%. You've got Medium's Third Eye, probably another one of those scenarios where Medium's Third Eye, again, an auction ended last week at $2 and this week at, it sold for $13. So you're just kind of seeing some of these auctions that affect the market a little bit, but just short term, as it doesn't take long for another card to sell. So that's one of the reasons we were way down last week, and this week we were up 18%. All right, as we look at the Holo Gold, on average here, make sure you can see that on average we are up 6.5% to $37 on average. You do have a Mothman. Let's see what I'm highlighting here. Nothing. You do have a Mothman that sold for $355. That is up 9%, no huge change. Like I said, Bigfoot is up 27%. I really think Wilderness is the reasoning for that. Love Them Frogman up 50%. Another one you may see in Wilderness. I don't know, maybe. Fresno Nightcrawler's up 54%. You got Samson Claire on this side of the market going down 12%. Quetzalcoatlus going up 28%. This is one of the most non-volatile weeks we've had. You've got the price swings, other than Fresno Nightcrawlers, the price swings are only 15 to 20%, 25, maybe upwards of 30%. We're not seeing those 50-60% price swings up 50. I wonder if we're finally starting to find our price points here for Cryptid Nation First Edition, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when Second Edition comes out. In some of these other TCGs, Chaos Crystal's up to 145. Some of these other TCGs, we didn't really see Unlimited affect the price of First Edition as much. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Second Edition. I tend to think that it's not going to affect the market as much as you may think it is, as people, maybe it just kind of stagnates it a little bit. But I honestly think it's going to bring more people into wanting the First Edition cards, wanting the Kickstarter cards. We've never seen a game that has like the Kickstarter and the First Edition version. So I don't know. We'll see. It'll be really interesting to watch. Your box toppers are up 5%. This is one of the things with Second Edition I think that people forget. The box toppers here have significant value, $50. I mean, if the box toppers of Cryptid Nation Second Edition end at $25, that's going to bring a considerable amount of EV to the set. That I think is going to help a lot. Your average box topper for First Edition at 25,000 boxes was $60, so that puts your average at 67,000. And I think that the average price could be between $20 and $25 for a box topper of Second Edition, and that's right now that's a fourth of the value of the box, which is incredible, almost guaranteed. So anyway, no sale to Red Ink that I saw. We're up 5% here. Your EV calculation is sitting at $834 per box if you include none of the non-foils. If you do include the non-foils, you're sitting at $978 per box, and that puts yourself up 9% for the holos and 5% for the non-holos. So all in all, a great week. Again, if you can get boxes, I don't really like recommending that you buy boxes of stuff at this much above MSRP. But if you've got boxes already that you bought at MSRP or earlier in the year, and you're looking to have some fun, it's worth it to open it compared to selling it as a sealed box. It's pretty much the same price, and you can kind of hope that you get a Mothman that you grade or whatever. So anyway, that's where the market is sitting for Cryptid Nation. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Again, if you want access to the collection tracker, if you want access to all the ways that we interact with Metazoo in the Discord server, we are going to be doing events here starting in 2021. I think we're going to have a weekly event for Metazoo. So I hope you guys are having yourself a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to the people around you, and we will see you again. Sorry, if you want access to that stuff, go to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. Anyway, have yourself a great day. Remember to be kind to people again around you, and we will see you again next video.